This is what we know about China in the United States.
Hey guys, I'm Max Karlinski, and today we're taking a look at a super hilarious video by CGTN. What is CGTN? CGTN is a Chinese global news agency. It has increasingly a wider reach, and you can access it pretty much anywhere on TV, on the internet, blah, blah, blah. It's there. But it's kind of a mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party, if you didn't already guess so. And they made this hilarious video from the viewpoint of an obviously non-biased American, or a token American, and what he thinks about the United States versus China and their perceptions of each other. So just take a look at this gold.
About China in the United States. We know there's a great big wall. We don't know the history of the wall. We don't know why the wall is there. We don't know who built the wall, and we don't know where the wall is. But we know that there's a great big wall.
Instantly, we can see that John Torrente is no fan of the United States. He is basically using implication to tell us that he doesn't think very highly of Americans. He says, well, they know of a wall, they don't know where the wall is. He's kind of treating us like we're a little kid or like we're stupid or something. And being condescending to the audience isn't exactly a great move, especially when the primary language being spoken in the video is English. So you're kind of asking for it, man.
Every night on the news, we hear about the GDP.
All right, man, first of all, let me stop you right there. We do not hear about the GDP every night on the news. People don't really care that much about economics. We're not looking at, oh, well, China has a $12.3 trillion GDP and the United States has a 22 point, like, we don't care. It's a non-factor. In the eyes of Americans, people care about other people. That's what makes it interesting. When you use abstract numbers to try to illustrate a situation that isn't super effective because people don't really care. So what news reports about are the people in China, like Xi Jinping, for example, and the things that he does. So it's kind of just like completely false.
We hear about trade negotiations that most of us don't understand. And of course, we know there's a lot of manufacturing in China because of our phones and cameras and all the things that we like to play with, all our electronics. Most of them come from China.
Yes, precisely. They do. A bunch of stuff comes from China. You know why? Because it's the cheapest place you could possibly manufacture stuff. It's like, what's more expensive, Michigan labor or Mexican labor? Boom, question answered. It's like, next. So I don't understand. It's such a weirdly contorted, condescending video, and he's tilting his head, and he has all these mannerisms, like he's speaking down to you, like you're a stupid little kid, and he's trying to illustrate this big important picture. He goes on to talk more about what Americans think and what Americans think when they go to Chinatown and like San Francisco. It's all just a bunch of bullshit. But the next thing that comes is really good.
And then, of course, more recently, what we've heard about China is...
let's say China. 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 China.
Is he still talking?
Yeah, guys, everybody knows Orange Man bad. Come on, that's common knowledge. Everybody knows he's the bad guy. Except, like, half of our country disagrees. So him making that statement is kind of invalid and also super misleading.
And whatever he says, we also don't understand.
Okay, another thing, that's like completely false. Like, we don't understand what he says. Yes, we do. He speaks an extremely simple language. The guy tweets anything that pops right into his brain. So I don't understand what this is. What are you saying? You are not the representative for people of the United States or the people of the West in general. So don't act like it. It's just it's a stupid point that you're making, and it doesn't make sense. And you're saying it because it pleases the people that you are trying to serve, which is this news agency, which in turn is the Communist Party of China.
What your house looks like, or your bedroom, or what you do for fun, or I don't know, where you go on the weekend. We don't know about daily life in China, just how people live and what's going on.
Yeah, why don't we know about what's going on in China? Are they a brutal totalitarian system? Yes, they are. And that's exactly why we don't know what's going on. They censor people, they kill and imprison journalists, they kill and imprison Uyghurs in Xinjiang. Like, why don't we know what's going on? Because nothing gets out. Nothing gets out. Because the Chinese government doesn't want any of us to actually know what's going on. Duh, duh, duh. Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. That's why. Okay, next he talks about how he has these two Western friends in New York, and he asks them to come visit him. And the wife gets on the phone, and she says, "Do you have a Western-style toilet?" And he says, "No, I don't have a Western-style toilet." She didn't say that. She did not say that. She didn't ask about a toilet. If that's really the determining factor for whether you're coming over to a new country, I mean, like, yes, basic sanitation is completely necessary, but there's toilets everywhere. Like, they're extremely accessible, so it's kind of a moot point, and it doesn't really make sense that she would bring it up in this interaction. So it's just kind of weird. And he goes on this long tangent, and he sort of brings it into racism. So just watch.
Life is secure, it's comfortable, it's stable, and nobody wants to change that. It creates confusion in people, and then confusion develops into fear. And then when things get worse, fear turns into racism, and racism turns into xenophobia. There's been more and more trouble with people because of the virus, and Chinese people have been attacked, and people have been saying very bad things.
Okay, first of all, I'll say something I agree with. I agree that living in a comfortable and secure place can desensitize you to however the world really may be for other people or its true reality. That being said, it's extremely important to bring up the fact that it does not, like, people don't inherently hate Chinese people because of a foreign virus. And it's really disingenuous to say that. It's also a disingenuous thing to say that we as a country are attacking Chinese people and saying very bad things. The United States is an incredibly diverse, incredibly multilingual, multinational nation, and it's hard to draw any specific conclusion about it. There's always going to be racist people. There will always be racism. But as far as crimes and, like, people getting seriously hurt or losing their jobs or any of that, that's not happening.
But you are the modern, young, hip, cool. You're the new China.
Okay, that's a very important point. The new China. What is the new China? The new China must be in reference to a past perception of China as a backwards, non-technologically advanced part of the world. And the truth is, China is an up-and-coming, increasingly very advanced, technologically adept place. And the perception of China ranges from people feeling threatened by it to people excited about it, and that's all well and good. All of those opinions are valid. And Chinese people are just like everybody else on Earth. And they're disproportionately, I might add, very hardworking and very kind and very family-oriented, which are all extremely important traits for any demographic. That's pretty much the end of the video, by the way. He basically says, you're the new China, and you youngsters, you need to stay informed, and I'll stop talking, goodbye. But this video is a lot bigger than that. It's sort of a tell into what the Chinese media thinks it can do and how it thinks it can convince people of certain perceptions and the influence that it has. It's obviously a very well-made, extremely sharply edited video, and the guy is likable enough. This kind of thing is modern-day propaganda, and we should watch out. We need to be careful. This country is not fooling around. Their government is, make no mistake, murderous. So I don't feel bad about making people aware of this video and the Chinese state-run media as a whole. It should be known, it should be reported more. There's no doubt about that. This is something that people need to wake up to. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope this was informative, funny, and or interesting. Please like it if you liked it, subscribe, dislike it if you didn't like it, and hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.
With Photoshop. I look so cute. China with Photoshop.